Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Bree Book Reviews video. In today's video, I'll be talking about all of the books that I read in the months of May and June. So I decided to combine all the books that I read into months because honestly I didn't read too much in May to really talk about it at the end of May, but I read a lot in June. So collectively there's quite a number of books, and I'm pretty proud they're all really huge giant books. Now I never really did do a wrap up of the Tome Topples readathon that I did participate in because I just didn't have any time to do it. But I did have a really successful readathon. I read 9 books total in the last 2 months. 6 of those books, by the way, are all over 500 pages. I would actually even say all over 600 pages, but I have to double check that. So I'm going to go over the smaller books that I read really quick first because there's only 3 of them. And those books are the first 3 books in the Raven Boy cycle by Maggie Stiefvater, sorry, I don't know how to say that. So we have the Raven Boys, The Dream Thieves, and Blue Lily, Lily Blue. Now while I really did enjoy these, it wasn't I need to know what happens, I have to continue reading till 4 o'clock in the morning type of read. I read these with my local book club, and I told you guys that I was a lot farther than the book club knew I was in. I was already in book 3 when we were supposed to be in book 1. And so I did go through them pretty quickly. I was reading them very fast, but they're really quick reads as it is, so I did enjoy them. I believe I gave each book 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next few books, I can't remember whether I finished them in May or finished them in June. The only 2 that I'm for certain I know finished in June are kind of, I'll go over later. So I'm gonna just go by the pile because since they're really big books, it's kind of hard to like get under the pile and grab the one underneath the others. So yeah, so the first one I grabbed here is, oh my god, I'm sorry for the lighting. So sorry. The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch. This is the first book in the Gentleman Bastard series, and I absolutely loved this book. Okay, so it started off sort of slow. Most books I have found nowadays, at least ones I've been reading, they have a very slow start to them. Very few books catch me on the first few chapters, so it did take a good amount of time. I would say probably like this much of the book to really like get me into there. This book overall ended up getting a 4 out of 5 stars. I probably would have made it a 5-star if it had caught my attention sooner on in the story. And so yes, if you started this book but then put it down because you weren't sure, please pick it back up and just continue to read it because it does take a little bit of time before you really delve into the story. The next 3 books all go together because they're from the same series, and you guys, I'm sure you know what I'm going to say because I've been ranting about this series for the last couple months, and that is the Rhaeria Revelation series by Michael J. Sullivan. I literally flew through these books. Flew through all of these books. I think I read all of these in the majority of May, and then I was finishing up the 3rd book when Tome Topples started, which if I am correct, it was like the very beginning of June, wasn't it? I don't remember. I did read this during Tome Topples, so that was one of my Tome Topple books that I completed. So we have the first book, The Theft of Swords, Book 2, The Rise of Empire, and Book 3, The Heir of Novron. All really amazing stories. Now these books each are like a combination of 2 books, so I was like unsure if I wanted to count this in a Tome Topple thing because technically it's like 2 stories, but I decided to count this as 1. So this was one of my Tome Topple books that I completed, and I was excited to get this series done. I will now be continuing on, trust me, I will now be continuing on with the prequel series, Rhaeria Chronicles, and I have not started this yet because I'm in the middle of reading something else, but I will definitely get to this very soon. Highly recommended, and without a doubt, I gave the entire series a 5 out of 5 stars. I had such a blast with this series. Now, during my reading of these other books that I was really intent on reading because of Tome Topples and other read-alongs that I was doing, I for some reason decided to pick this particular book up, and when I did, I could not put this book down. Okay, so I am an avid reader. We all know this, but I am also an old lady when it comes to like sleep. I need sleep. It has to be 8 hours of sleep, 7 or 8 hours, or else Bridget is a cranky woman. So it has been a really long time. I could be absolutely engrossed in a book and I will still put it down to go to bed. But for some reason, this book kept me up till like 3 a.m. 2 days straight. 2 days straight. Because I had to go to work the next day. So I was like, had to wait till I got home. It was a mess. Anyways, I was really tired those few days and cranky, but I needed to read this, and boy did I feel accomplished when I read it. And that is A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This book was so good. The hype on this book is real, okay? The hype on this book is so real. I was hesitant going into picking this book up. I'm not the biggest new adult reader, but I think the fantastical element factor really helped me to really enjoy this book. And I cannot wait for the next book. Oh my god, 5 out of 5 freaking stars, because yes, and Sarah J. Maas. This series is amazing. I'm even like deciding, I can't decide actually right now whether I like this one better or Throne of Glass. Like that's how good this book is. And the last and final book that I finished this one in June. This was also part of a read-along that I was doing with a group of YouTubers. The only one that comes to mind is Kayla from Bookadoodles, but there's a couple other of her friends that started to do a read-along for A Song of Ice and Fire. Each month they're reading one book at a time. This month it was the start of the whole thing, so we read A Game of Thrones by George R. Martin. This is the second time I have completely read this book. This time though, I listened to it on audiobook, and oh my god, did I love listening to this. The voices that this guy does, I gotta look at this, hold on. Okay, so the narrator is Roy Dotrice, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He made that book in audio form. I mean, I would have loved the book regardless, because I've already read it, and I know I love the book, so, and I love the TV series. By the way, can we talk about the TV series? No, that's another video. So amazing. I loved all of the voices that he made for the series. It really helped me to distinguish all of the characters, because we all know that Game of Thrones has so many characters in it, but he did a really good job in giving each person their own little accent. That way you could tell who was talking. So amazing. 5 out of 5. What else would I give this series? So yes. So of course it is the new month, and we are continuing this series for the read-along. I am in book 2 now, Clash of Kings, and really enjoying it so far. I am 25 minutes in, only listened to it just today, so I haven't really gotten too far into the book. But the other one that I'm really excited, and I'm way farther than my bookmark. I don't know why my bookmark's not marked where I'm actually at, but I am reading Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch. This is the second book in the Gentleman's Bastard series, and this series is really good. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, and I can't wait to see what kind of shenanigans him and Jean get into. So yeah. So that was all for this May and June wrap up. As always, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!